Why?
because I
All that again?
restarted. So it'll be on your end. I don't have it.
Motherfucker.
Hey, listen, I just
Yeah,
got.
let's.
Listen, Discord is not going to be perfect, but it's still better than paying for Google.
All right, so let me redo that again real quick. Shameless plug time.
Of
If
course, that's how
anybody
we do this.
wants, that's why we do the shameless plugs. If anybody wants to get out into the theater dinner, uh, March 24th, 25th, 26th, that's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then we're playing the following weekend, the 31st, 1st, and 2nd of April, Death Salesman. The Friday, Saturday shows are at 8. Sunday shows are at 2. LittleVictoryTheater.com. Email them littlevictory16@gmail.com. Get your tickets. The set looks great. The cast is awesome. They've been working really, really hard to get everything done. Uh, yeah, and probably did it before. Maggie, say hi,
There's
Maggie.
Maggie. Hey, Maggie.
Here's Maggie. Yeah. Oh, she heard you.
Of course she
She
did.
heard you. She heard you. So anyway, that's Maggie. She's sitting on me.
As
And
per
if you hear
usual.
me, as per usual, if you hear me like moan and groan, it's probably because she's moving and stepped on my balls. Because she does that.
Hey,
Uh,
listen, she is the most affectionate dog. Like everybody's like, "Oh, pit bulls are mean." I'm like, "Really?" Because
no, they're not. No, they are
that
not.
dog, will. It's like that is not a guard dog.
No, not at all. Look at how could anybody not love that face? Look at that
That is
face.
just adorable.
You did have Maggie face. Look at that.
Yep. So
Look at the Maggie face.
yeah, you're gonna end
Yeah.
up you're really gonna end up making me have to put this up on YouTube just because people are gonna want to see Maggie's face.
Yes. Yes. Put this up on YouTube. And
Yeah.
if anybody's wondering, I'm gonna throw out another shameless plug here. Uh,
Well, how about we get the show started before you go and you do a shameless plug?
so start the show, fucker.
Welcome once again, everyone, to the Dragoon's Lair podcast. I am the Blue Dragoon himself. We are doing this a little bit differently, remote through the Discord page. So I'll make sure I put a link for the Discord page. So if anyone wants to join up, and maybe the next time we do this virtually, they'll be able to join in, ask questions, and stuff. So I'm here remotely with King Hamster Pellet himself. So go ahead, Mike. Let's get those shameless plugs in.
All right, here we go. Shameless plug time. What up, people? You know me. I'm Mike Schiavo, King Hamster Pellet himself. Check out for me. Talking about Maggie. She is a rescue dog. Got her from Rescue Dogs Rock NYC. They're a nonprofit organization who helps dogs, cats, kangaroos. No kangaroos. I'm sorry. But no, they're a great company. They're a non for profit. They're all over the country. They take rescue dogs that were rescued in different parts of the country and they put them up on a site, adopt. They get checked out before they come up here. So if you're looking for a puppy, an older puppy, or any kind of puppy or a kitten, check out Rescue Dogs Rock NYC. You'll see there's a ton of stuff. I've put up 2 videos for them that they asked me to make for them. So, shameless plug for Rescue Dogs Rock NYC. Welcome.
Well, I wouldn't even call it a shameless plug because it's not like we're being sponsored, but you know what? Any kind of rescuing an animal is better than going and buying a very expensive dog that you don't know how the breeders were. So a rescue is always good, and I'm here to support getting rescue animals. So I definitely approve.
So, what are we talking about today, Danny?
Well, let's see. Today we're going to be discussing the upcoming movies for March because February is winding down. So we've got that going on. We also need to discuss, because I now know you have fully caught up on The Flash. And that last episode gave us some jokes, but you wanted to talk about Big Trouble in Little China, so we're going to do some discussion on Big Trouble in Little China after we go through our March movies. But let's start off with The Flash. So now you've caught up on the 4 episodes that have come out.
Yeah, I
So
saw the last two.
yeah. So what your opinions?
Um, Wondering how they're gonna wrap everything up. Uh, I don't know. Does Tony Todd have like exclusive contract with the Flash because he was the voice of Flash. Voice he did the voice of he did Black Flash. He did another voice of another Speed Godspeed I think it was.
Yeah, he was
And before they
was,
did
I believe Tony Todd was the voice that you heard for it was either Godspeed or Savitar.
and it was another one. Remember when it turned out the Flash villain that turned out to be Jay, the guy who was playing Jay Garrick, Tony Todd, what's his name, Teddy Sears, was in season 5.
Uh it's all over the place. I think
Yeah,
I think after season 9 I'm going to end up doing a full rewatch of The Flash just to go from point A to B.
yeah. I mean, but anyway, Tony Todd did like 5 voices already. So does he have like an exclusive right or exclusive contract with the CW to do the voices of the Flash speedsters?
Don't know,
But
but let's face it, Tony Todd's voice
works.
is
No,
amazing.
oh, without a doubt. When he did Darkseid in the JLA movies, forget
Oh
it.
yeah.
But when at the end of the last episode,
The reveal of Red Death.
the reveal of Red Death and Captain Cold are like, "Who are you?" And she goes, "I am vengeance." I'm sorry, I cracked the fuck up.
Oh,
Like,
don't
no,
don't
you're not.
because I was sitting there and I started laughing because I'm like, you know what? We just lost Kevin Conroy, so it's very
And
difficult.
that is his, yeah.
Yeah, it's very difficult to hear someone else doing "I am vengeance," and I was almost waiting to see if they were going to do the homage of "I am vengeance, I am the night," and I was like, oh no. But this really felt like they're taking inspiration from the what is it, the dark metal event?
Yeah, dark metal.
Yeah, the dark metal.
That's with like the Batman who laughs and everything
yeah,
else.
the negative multiverse.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Wasn't a huge fan of that woman TV show.
Yeah, it
Wasn't
really
a
wasn't
fan
that.
when
It
they
wasn't
did
that
the
great.
no.
It had a few. The Batwoman show had a few good moments, but it wasn't one of the standouts.
Not at all. And we revealed after the first season that Ruby Rose wasn't coming back, and we're like, okay, how are we gonna fix this one? And then everybody was like, oh, we're making Batwoman black because we have to. That was one of the things. I mean, I don't care, black, white, orange, purple. It doesn't matter. If I think you take away from a show when you make the emphasis more on the actor or actress's ethnicity
I don't.
with their
I don't
ability
think
to
it was
play the character.
I don't think it was really the ethnicity. I think they were still just trying to cover the bases for full diversity and inclusion because let's face it, the
Yeah,
CW does that for every one of their shows and
you do.
they wanted to make sure that they were like, okay, we're still keeping the character a lesbian because the original it was a lesbian and I'm like, okay, well,
Right.
didn't care one way or the other. I just was like,
Right.
it
You
they
keep
didn't
it true
change the
to the
character enough.
characters.
She seemed like she was just the where it was like, oh, okay, the first one Ruby Rose played was, it was like, oh, she's rich. Now we're going for, okay, the other side of the tracks where it's like she doesn't have any money and she's taking over this business and being Batwoman, but it really felt like they didn't distinguish the characters too much apart, so it was almost like
No.
cut and paste.
Yeah, and it just it didn't do anything for me. And I tried to watch it. I gave it like the first episode, like because I wanted to see how they worked it out. And mistaken, like the first episode of the second season doesn't uh, the, doesn't she find like the Batwoman suit in a dumpster?
Yeah, it was
Uh, really? I'm like, what are we doing here, guys?
the
Fucking dump! You find it in a fucking dumpster.
not only that, but remember, she had the Batwoman suit was made from the Batman suit in the first
Yeah,
season, so it's like she just happens to fit into this costume that it's like really
yeah. It,
it was a stretch.
yeah, I was like,
The I
I was
will
like, you're done. You jumped the shark.
the thing is the actress portraying her is actually really good, but it was just not a good like fit for changing the character because it felt too much of a copy and paste.
Yeah, what it did. I'm not putting the knock on the actress. Ruby Rose left for her own reasons,
And I
and
did not miss Ruby Rose.
I
I wasn't a fan of
didn't.
Ruby Rose before, so it's not real. It's like she's not
It's,
bad, but
but yeah,
Batwoman wasn't a role that I really saw her in.
yeah. No, I mean, I shot. I was like, okay, interesting. Let's see what she can do. Didn't. Uh, but I was like, all right, guys, enough. Just go. The new one, Gotham Knights. Yeah, no, not even going to give it a look. I might give it a look, see, but I doubt it.
I'm not even watching it,
Just
but I will say Gotham was at so far when it came to live action like Batman or Bat Family shows, that was probably the best out of the ones that they've come up with so far. Oh, in the modern day, because I'll stick with my campy Adam West for fun.
was it was the best. I was actually in an episode from as background. Or- but one of the biggest things for me was like knowing that it's a Batman show, not having Batman. I was like, eh. I liked the way they brought. I like Penguin, the Riddler. I liked all those characters. The problems I had at the end when you finally see him in bat suit, I looked at it and I was like, bat suit that I have looked so much better than what was shown on TV. I was like, guys, come on. We're not expecting, like this is supposed to be like this first time out. We're not expecting everything to be perfect. But at the same time, a couple more bucks than what I mean, I spent about maybe I think at the time 250 on my costume, and it's like 8 pieces of like latex, and they must have molded it off of Michael Keaton's forehead because the thing was just like out to here. But it looked like maybe they spent $300 on this. I'm like, dude, come on, go out with a bang. Give him a little bit better of a suit than what I have. But
No,
no, they didn't, and I was like, ooh.
well,
That was kind of a cringy moment for me. I was like,
yeah.
yeah.
But I mean, out of other than that, for the Flash, though, I gotta say that they actually did a good job with the setup and everything, and the new rogues. I don't
Yeah.
like them as much as the old rogues, but I'm like they're not sticking around long enough for it to really make a
Yeah.
difference.
I mean, they're good for the time being, and I want to see how they explain how she gets her speed.
Yeah, which
I want to see how they do that
since the season's
because
so short, it's going to be coming up quick.
yeah, which is fine. I mean, explain it, give it a bit of rationale, and then move on.
Yeah. Well,
Got to get too deep into it.
well, I do want to talk about the fact that now we have just had one of my most anticipated movies for February come out at the end. I need to see this because I have to see Cocaine Bear. Come
I
on.
said it before. I said it before when we talked about this the first time. If there is not a scene in this movie where we have the bear and Ray Liotta fighting for the cocaine, I will consider that movie an absolute failure. They need to have a scene where Ray Liotta and the bear just duke it out, drop down, drag out, fight to the death. The winner gets the rest of the cocaine. And if Elizabeth Banks ever wants to direct a movie again, I'm sorry, she needs to have that scene in this film.
No, you know what?
Even if you go back and CGI Ray Liotta in somehow, do it. I mean, but it has to be in the film.
Well, you know what? You sent me something earlier that made me laugh.
Yes.
Because let's face it, this means this is the start of the craze. We just had there's the horror movie that came out, which was Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
Yeah.
Which there's going to be a bunch of fairy tale ones that are in the public domain, so Disney has no say. That these can't be made. But
yeah. Without a doubt.
Now we have animals on drugs. So
Cocaine Bear.
Cocaine Bear, and what you sent me, a poster for Attack of the Meth Gator.
Attack of the Meth Gator, brought to you by the wonderful people at the Asylum. Meth Gator. What's next? Pandas on Quaalude? Koalas on Quaalude? What the hell? We have koalas on Quaalude. We have fucking pandas on Prozac. Seriously. Why can't we be that smart to write something that's stupid?
Because you're not on drugs.
I should be. Maybe I should start taking some. Other than the medication I'm on now for this fucking ear infection. Maybe I need to up the dosage or something. I don't know.
I think maybe while you're on the medication for the ear infection, that's where you should start writing. Get yourself in that hallucinogenic state and just start writing.
Yeah, but how much can you trip on amoxicillin and ibuprofen? You can't trip all that much.
Well, since you don't take drugs, maybe you could.
Maybe I could, yeah. I mean,
we are not condoning illegal substances or getting stoned off your ass, but we're not saying
if it helps me creatively. I mean, seriously, Cocaine Bear and fucking Meth Gator. What are you on, and why aren't you sharing?
I'm sorry, but the fact that it's Meth Gator made me laugh because I'm like, okay, alligators' teeth aren't really that pretty to begin with, so is that why they decided meth?
It could be. It could be, Sharks on speed. What's next?
Yeah. So, but let's get into the March movies because now that
March movies,
February's winding down, and I gotta say, Jonathan Majors did a great job for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, and now he's gonna have another movie coming out because starting off for March, we're getting Creed 3.
Now, originally I put a meh next to Creed 3, but after watching the previews for it, I'm like, okay, I'm changing my meh. So I'm gonna go see it.
Yeah,
to a yes.
Yeah, there's something about now Kang the Conqueror going up against in a one-on-one boxing match against Killmonger.
Killmonger, yes, Kane and Killmonger. Let's go, buddy.
Yeah, this is the clash of the Marvel villains.
Yeah.
In an actual boxing match.
Yes.
And Jonathan Majors, from his physique, he looks like he could probably wreck someone.
Oh, jeez. I was reading something the other day. Paul Weathers pretty much quit the Rocky franchise because when he did that boxing scene with Drago, he got like ribs broken. He's like, I'm done. I'm not doing this shit.
Well, remember, Lundgren was told make it look real, and that's why
Yeah,
Stallone took a
that's what he
beating.
did.
I
He
think
made it look real, all right.
I think Stallone ended up needing to go to the hospital after the
Yeah,
Lundgren beat the shit out of him.
yeah. I think he broke like I think he like deflated a lung and like broke like 4 ribs.
Yeah. Well,
And then they were like, yeah, make it look real doesn't mean kill the star of the movie.
yeah, we learned that
Then
one.
then you and then you have Lundgren. If he dies, he dies. He dies. I take over franchise.
Yeah. Listen, I still love Rocky 4. It's one of my
Yeah,
absolute favorites, but knowing that he beat the shit out of him made me laugh till no end.
yeah,
So, I mean, and that's the first big movie coming out in March. I gotta
yeah.
say,
Like I said,
you went from a meh to now wanting to see it.
yes,
But
yes. I went from meh.
this goes to
But
show,
again, the preview sold me. It was the preview that sold me on it. I
yeah,
watched it. I was like, holy shit, I want to see this.
yeah, it's definitely one that's on the top of my list. Like, I think I want to see if I have enough time off that I could do a double feature and see Cocaine Bear and Creed 3.
Why would you?
It it's Cocaine Bear. I can't. It's
I know Doug wants to see Cocaine Bear, so you guys can double up.
okay. So now the following week we get Scream 6.
No, hard pass.
Really?
Really? Yeah. Nope.
The last one actually was pretty good. Did you
I
see
don't know.
Did you see the I know it's jumping the shark because it really is, but when you see the poster and it look all the characters cuz it's a New York City subway map cuz they're
Yeah.
going to be in New York and I'm just like there's the New Yorker in me that wants to see it just cuz it's a horror movie in New York, but at the same time I'm like Jason Takes Manhattan proved that it's
I'm
like
thinking the same thing. Jason
it's
Takes Manhattan. Well, if you have Ghostface Killer. If you don't have an appearance from the Wu-Tang Clan in there, hell,
yeah, it's one of those things where it's like it's like if you're going to do a horror movie set in New York, they really need to just be on Staten Island.
yeah, yeah,
So, I mean,
yeah.
it's
So
a no for you, but for me, I love my horror movie, so it's one that I definitely want to see. I don't know if I'm willing to go to the theater to see it though.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm not no.
Okay. So, now we're going to go through these pretty quickly because we're getting trailers for a lot
Yeah,
of these. So we've been able to make up our minds a little bit faster than we did the previous months. But 65 starring Adam Driver.
when I first saw it, I was like, it just said on the sheet, 65 rating, TBD, Adam Driver, Ariana Greenblatt. I was like, okay, what? Now that I've seen a preview for it, I was like, I'll go check this flick out. Just scored, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll go check it out. So that's a yeah for me. I'll go check out 65. Watching the trailer, it kind of gave me that uh Dino Crisis video game feel to it.
Okay. It to me
So
it felt like it felt like I was just a little worried with it that I don't know how I if I want to see it because it kind of feels like that cheesy. There was that one movie that came out where you had the people that they went back in time and they were hunting dinosaurs and I'm just like ugh.
what movie was that?
I don't even remember the title. It was like late 90s, early 2000. It I'm like, it's just one of those things where it's like Adam Driver's a good actor, but I don't know if this is enough to get me to see this one.
I'll, I'll give it a shot. I mean, if you're seeing Cocaine Bear, I could definitely go see 65.
Yeah. Now, the other movie coming out on like pretty much the same day is Shazam Fury of the Gods.
Yes.
Yeah. Zachary Levi has me sold.
And they need to keep, James Gunn needs to keep Zachary. To bring him back Shazam, keep Zachary.
Yeah. Zachary Levi has done an amazing job with Shazam. The first one really I put up there as like the DC universe during during Snyder's run. It was one of the more successful ones that I really enjoyed. I would be like what the first Wonder Woman movie and then Shazam are like the two that I will sit there and love like for standalone heroes.
Yeah. Even though I knew at the time when Shazam came out, Henry Cavill was no longer Superman. But when you saw Superman from like the chest down at the end of the Shazam film,
You were hoping.
I was hoping like pan up, pan up, pan up, pan up. But no, but I liked it.
Yeah. So
It's a good Saturday popcorn flick.
Oh, absolutely. So then the next like as we get to the end of the month, we get Champions with Woody Harrelson and Ernie Hudson. I still haven't seen a lot about that movie, but Woody Harrelson and Ernie Hudson, I think Ernie Hudson for me is a huge selling point.
Yeah, when I didn't put anything next to it because when I looked at the sheet, I didn't hear anything about it. I didn't know anything about it because the sheets we're looking at just give us the release date, the name, the rating, and who's in it. Now seeing a trailer for it, I'll go see it. It's kind of if you liked what was that film with Johnny Knoxville, Ringers, when he was in the Special Olympics. This is more of a true story with that Ringers feel to it because it's Woody Harrelson and somehow he gets involved in coaching a Special Olympic basketball team. And in one of the commercials you see for it, he introduces himself. That guy with Down syndrome walks up and he goes, "How you doing?" He goes, "My name's Johnny." He goes, "You're homie with the extra chromie." I was like, "You sold me right there. I'm going to go see that film." And they have other scenes like in the trailer where like it's supposed to be like the night before the big game. So he tells everybody go get some sleep. And you see one of the other athletes on the team. She's in full ski gear. They're in the motel room. In the motel, she's in full ski gear on a pair of skis with like a on those ropes that you do for like water skiing. Yeah. She's getting dragged down a hallway. The door opens and she goes flying past him. He's like, "The fuck?" I'm like, I want to see it.
Yeah.
So, yes, Champions gets a yes from me.
See, now for me, it's I'm not going to see it in theaters because I don't even know if it's going to be in theaters. I mean, if it's on like Netflix or one of the streaming platforms, I'm going to check it out. But then there's John Wick 4, and that's an absolute must for me.
You're gonna give me shit for this one, but I haven't seen the first 3 John Wicks.
Wow. Oh.
I know.
You know what? Like I can understand because it's a lot of people are down on Keanu Reeves at times.
Well, no, I'm not down on Keanu. I just never really got into John Wick.
Well, with how big of an animal lover you are, and you being so close with your dogs, that I would have assumed that you'd want to see a movie about a guy who goes off and they steal his car and kill his dog.
The dog. Yeah, I don't want to see the dog get killed.
Oh no, well that's the thing. The dog, it's a puppy. So when but the revenge that someone goes after, I'm like,
I being an animal guy, I would do the same shit. If someone takes care of takes out my Maggie,
and it's it's so worth it. Like the action alone, I'm like, The Matrix has nothing on the action in John Wick. I prefer the John Wick franchise.
Okay.
So, And then there's Lost King coming out, which I still know nothing about.
Either I haven't seen a preview, read an article. I think it
So
might be one of those like just gonna release it and hope for the best.
yeah, so I really don't have too much interest in that one. And then we get to the end of March, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes.
I want to see this. I know there's been like a lot of controversy in the Dungeons and Dragons like community and stuff because like there's the stuff going on with Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast with like gaming licenses and changing things around. But I gotta say, I'm interested because Chris Pine as a bard and Michelle Rodriguez playing a barbarian.
Yeah.
Like those two things had me sold immediately, but the displacer beasts, the gelatinous cube, I'm like, oh my god, this looks like it's gonna be good.
You know what? I have never played the game. I never did. I never got into it. I know Dungeons and Dragons from the 80s cartoon show on Channel 2 Saturday mornings. I think with a a movie like that, you can get away with it having absolutely nothing to do with Dungeons and Dragons. If you have it set in the fantasy world like that, you could just call it whatever working title you want. You could even call it what's this thing called?
Honor Among Thieves.
Honor Among Thieves. You could call it Honor Among Thieves, but to get the recognition, Dungeons and Dragons. My Trapped in Time story. You can call it Dungeons and Dragons Trapped in Time. It'll still work.
Yeah. Listen,
I think it's like the hardcore gamers who really go all out for the Dungeons and Dragons experience are gonna be like, oh, this movie sucks. It has nothing to do with it. And then you have the people who just want to go out and see a good movie. We're like, oh, I'm gonna go fucking see that because it looks great.
yeah, Chris Pine.
It has the right amount of action.
Oh yeah, and then
the right amount of humor.
And the actors in there, I mean, let's face it, Michelle Rodriguez and Chris Pine alone are two huge selling points for that movie.
Yeah. Just by watching some of just by watching the preview, even Justice Smith, the way he's able like to deliver like the deadpan comedy.
Yep.
Like, oh, I think I tripped the booby trap. You know, and you have Michelle Rodriguez kicking the shit out of everybody. And there's Chris Pine. I think I need to find a sharper step to cut these ropes off. You know?
Yep. It's definitely something
that's a yes for me.
Yeah, same thing. It's definitely a yes. Now we've got The Good Person with Florence Pugh and Morgan Freeman.
Haven't heard anything about it.
Yeah, this is one that's going under the radar, and I like Florence Pugh. She's done a great job. I can't wait to see her in the Thunderbolts. And it's Morgan Freeman. He's a legend.
Come on, it's God. Yeah. He's God.
But it's like, I got to see more about it before I can make any kind of decision.
Yeah, I mean, it's not one of those films where like the title grabs you, and the title gives you a hint of what to expect. Give me a trailer. Give me a synopsis. Give me a teaser. Yeah. Anything. Let me see what this is about before I can make a decision.
Yeah, and the last two movies on our list, there really isn't any major information on them. So I kind of feel like I'm gonna blend them both together and just say like maybe I'll check them out if they're streaming, because Spinning Gold and 1001, I'm like I know nothing about it. Spinning Gold, I'm like, Peyton List, good actress. I have no clue if I want to see this or not.
You know what that might be?
What?
It might be a retelling of Rumpelstiltskin.
Maybe. You know what? I have no clue. And 1001, I'm like, there's really no information for me that I really even want to look it up. It's like they're not even attaching like bigger names to this. So this is probably going to be one of those like lower under the radar films.
And that could also be Sherazade, 1001 Tales. It could be like one of those.
Yeah. So, I mean, we'll find out, I guess, as it gets closer if they actually even release anything. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, the list that we got off of Cinema Blend doesn't really say like where it's going. So,
Right. It doesn't give it justice, so
and they could be going to streaming platforms. So we have no clue if this is going to be like a Hulu or a Netflix original or
right.
something going straight to like HBO Max.
Right.
So until we have more information, I'm gonna reserve judgment for the most part, but
Yeah, me too.
I can't sit there in good conscience and be like, I want to see it or say, nah, I'm just gonna pass. I have no clue
Yeah.
until I know more.
Right.
So
You don't have enough to make an informed decision.
yeah, and when it comes to making a movie, I need like to see what I'm gonna see. Really does depend on. I need a trailer. I need some information. I need some buzz around it. If it's too overhyped, I'm never going to see it.
Ah.
That's why my record of never seeing Titanic still remains intact. I have never seen The Notebook. And in all honesty, it's like when people told me about Braveheart a long time ago and they kept swearing how great this movie was. I bought the DVD when I was working at a video store for $7.99. It was on sale, and that was when DVDs cost $20 a pop on the low end. And I basically bought it while it was on sale. It took me forever to finally watch it, and I still sat there and I was like, I don't understand the hype around this.
The action scenes were great. You know, it's one of those historical films. Look, you need to be vested in the history of Ireland and what they went through. Scotland, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Listen,
and what they went through.
I love the history aspect, but it just
Yeah. Yeah, it's again, I like the action parts of it. When they weren't fighting, it kind of dragged. Although I do have to say, I like one of the guys that were part of Braveheart's crew, like the crazy guy, one who kept thinking he could talk to God. So there's one big battle, like the English are releasing the bows, and they're all under the shields. The arrows are coming down, and one arrow head went through the shield and almost caught Braveheart in the eye. And the crazy guy looks at Braveheart and he goes, I'm pretty sure. He goes, I spoke to the good Lord. He goes, he says I can get out. I'm going to live through this. He goes, he's pretty sure you're fucked. And I'm just like, that's awesome. Yeah, the good Lord said, you're fucked. You're dead, dude. Yeah. You're fucked.
Listen, it could have good lines, but it just wasn't a movie that I didn't understand the hype around it. But now we're going to talk. We're going to focus in because you wanted to talk Big Trouble in Little China.
I like it.
There's no way we can't devote an entire episode to a movie like Big Trouble in Little China. I mean, we could.
We could.
We're going to be repeating a lot of the same things.
We need more than just the two of us. We need like Doug and my buddy Danny.
Oh no, we I've got a couple of buddies that it's like when you talk Big Trouble in Little China, these guys would definitely like monopolize everything. Yeah. But their knowledge of a lot of the stuff in there would blow your mind.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those films that stands, it's a cliche, but it stands the test of time.
Well, that's the thing. You have to if we're going to discuss like Big Trouble in Little China, we have to discuss John Carpenter. And John Carpenter is and always has been ahead of his time. The majority of his movies, like even if they don't do well in the theaters,
they do well at home.
Yeah, the home release.
They make their money on home releases.
Yeah. They're making their money on the back end because they become cult classics. And I mean, when you go through his list, John Carpenter started the Halloween franchise. His
Mm-hmm.
telling of The Fog, The Thing, and The Thing is even a remake. So his rendition of The Thing, even though it's a remake, basically is considered the definitive version of The Thing.
Yeah, I mean, even the way that movie ends, when you have the two of them just like staring at each other, trying to figure out if one of these two is the thing or not.
Yeah.
That's how the movie ends, and that's just like, all right. I mean, you tell me a director who has the balls to do that nowadays.
Oh, none.
Just to end the movie like that and say you figure it out.
Yeah, to
You know?
leave it off like that on such a
Yeah.
cliffhanger was absolutely a genius. But then he does something like Big Trouble in Little China, which it took all the Hong Kong action flicks with like the wire work and all the stuff, and just
Yeah.
like he turned it on its head because it's like here's a bunch of Americans, but they're
We're making
think,
a karate flick.
but they're not the American guys aren't the star. But
No, they're not, which is great. I mean, okay, the rundown who is in the cast, all right?
yeah,
Okay, we have, these are the names you would know. Okay, obviously Kurt Russell,
yep.
Kim Cattrall.
Oh, Kim
Okay,
Cattrall, absolutely.
right off the bat, those are like the only two people you would know.
Well, no, because
Okay, you have
James Wong, what was it?
Ong,
James Hong, and then
Wong.
Victor Wong,
Oh,
Asian.
Shit, right. But Victor Wong and James Hong,
Yeah.
they're not names. They have faces that you recognize because they've been in a ton of shit. They're one of those actors where they go, oh, yeah, I know him. He's been in blah, blah, blah. What's his name? I have no fucking clue. And you know his face. Okay,
Well,
if I
you
say
also
Kurt
know
Russell,
the second you see them, you know their work.
oh, yeah. But they're like, I'm talking right now, if you just read the list, people who are in this film, okay? Kurt Russell, check. You know exactly who he is. Dennis Dunn. If you're not looking up Dennis Dunn, who is he? Okay. He played Wang.
Yep.
Again,
The
Victor
actual
Wong.
hero.
The actual hero of the film. Victor Wong. All right, who's that? You show him, oh, that guy. Same deal with James Hong. What's he? Oh, James. Okay, now I know that guy. Kim Cattrall. Fine. Susie Pye. Carter Wong. Peter Wong with a K. No, James Pack. Like, who the hell are these guys? Okay, but when you watch, you're like, oh, okay, these guys, they made the film. It's with only Kim Cattrall and Kurt Russell's name really known.
And even
You had to have known.
The thing is, though,
as a studio, you had to have known. Okay, we're not making.
But remember, though,
we're not going to make dick at the box office.
Yeah, but you got to remember too. Back then, Kim Cattrall was not a huge like name. You figure
she was coming off Police Academy. She was coming off the Meatballs.
Well, she had done Porky's was like one of her first.
Porky's, that's what it was.
She did Porky's, and her big movie in the '80s that I think made everyone fall.
Mannequin.
Yeah, which I love. Like I developed a huge crush on her for Mannequin alone. And that, like, so it was like, okay. And then seeing her in Big Trouble in Little China was just like, oh, okay. And it was like she went from the comedy of Mannequin to trying to be serious in a movie that really doesn't come off serious at all in Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah. They're just, I mean, again, it came out in 1986. I was 8 years old. And as stupid as it sounds, I was flipping through the channels one afternoon or one evening. I think it was on Channel 5. And I saw the beginning of the film.
Okay.
When they steal Wong's girlfriend.
Yep. She gets
Stealing the
kidnapped
girlfriend,
at the airport.
also known as kidnapping, stealing
Yep.
double girlfriend, kidnapping. Uh,
Well, there's
like
different types of stealing someone's girl. You know,
that
there's
is true, but
there's
this
I'm
is
picking her up at the
a
club, and it's
legitimate
like she's going.
stealing.
Yeah.
Yeah, just picking her up at the club, and then there's chloroforming her at the fucking airport. But
I think that was
let's be
more
straight
human
here.
trafficking at that point.
Yes, that was human trafficking before that was an actual term. But again, I was 8 years old. What made me sit down and watch this film was the people who kidnapped the girlfriend drove a Trans Am. And I was like, oh, Trans Am. I gotta watch this flick. And then I watched it and I was like blown away. I was like, this is hysterical. 8 years old, laughing at, at this shit. And thinking I want to be Jack Burton. You know, when they're in the office and they're knocking on the wall and they come up to the hollow part. He goes, hollow, hollow, fuck it. Hits it with the knife. I'm like, I want to do that. You know, I wanted to walk into the school with my buddy, knock on a wall, hollow, hollow, fuck it. And just rip it apart. I wanted to do that. Don't shake your head. You wanted to too.
No, I really didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, anything out of like being like Kurt Russell and his character in that movie, I pretty much already was. It was more like just coming up with crazy shit to say the Pork Chop Express. Like that was what I liked about it. But it was also the thing of like, the girl with the jade eyes. I was like, oh, something
Yeah.
about a girl with the green eyes. So I was just like,
It's
that
all
was,
on the
yeah.
reflexes.
It was stuff like
I
that
mean,
where it was like with the
okay,
knife.
now here's a little question for you. Here's a little question for you.
Okay.
Kurt Russell as Jack Burton.
Yep.
It was only 9 years. Excuse me. 9 years removed from Star Wars, and Kurt Russell was one of the actors who auditioned for Han Solo. Do you think he brought a little Han Solo into Jack Burton?
No.
Really, you don't see a little bit
No.
similar between the two characters?
No, because the thing is though, it's like you've got two cocky characters anyway. But it really falls into the realm of when you take a look at Kurt Russell's performances, I can see more Snake Plissken like being toned down than I can see Han Solo. I know he auditioned for it, and I saw the audition tape because I think by now any diehard Star Wars fan has seen all these behind the scenes like things, especially like the auditions. But there's no, I don't like. It would have been virtually the same thing no matter what, because Snake Plissken was more the badass.
See, I see more Han than Snake.
But your comparison is going off of the fact that he auditioned for the part. His portrayal, I feel like he would, if he was Han Solo, it would have came off more like Snake Plissken.
Really? You think he would have played it that tough?
I think he would have came off more of a tough guy than being like more of the smart ass. And you got to remember too, when you look at the whole performance throughout all of Big Trouble in Little China, what's the one scene where you feel he was more Han Solo? See, now you're stumping because where
I mean, one scene that that jumps out at me where it says Han, where he it's to me where it says Han Solo is at the end when he catches the knife and throws it right back, and he's like, it's all in the reflexes.
that's just cocky and arrogant. That's not like him actually going and being Han Solo.
All right.
because
So, in your opinion, what makes him
the
in
closest
that film?
the closest he came to Han Solo was him being confused when they're all talking about like what all the mythology and everything that's going on when he came back from the massage parlor, and you're kind of it's like that was the moment where you find out, if you listen to the commentary track, he had a fever and was still recording that scene. It's
Yeah.
like you're filming a scene and you have a fever. I mean, granted, there's a lot of dedication to the role at that point, but
Oh yeah.
he, like Han Solo seeming more would like that to me came off as like as close as he was going to get to Han Solo by being confused, because it's like you're talking about the Force and he's like, huh? Like the confusion there. Hokey religions and ancient swords are nothing compared to a blaster. That
That's
was
the
about as
ratchet side,
close as you were
dude.
going to get.
Okay.
But I don't see him as ever really being Han. And that's why he didn't get the role,
Okay. I mean,
at least in my opinion.
all right.
I mean, listen, we can multiverse it, and there's a universe out there where he was Han Solo. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see that universe.
No.
Although I question the fact that now General Thunderbolt Ross is going to be President Thunderbolt Ross, and it's going to be Harrison Ford.
I still say, what's wrong with having Sam Elliott do it?
You know that it's no matter what, it's going to be hilarious to see, especially if he does become Red Hulk. It's just
I think
one of those
I think you're
moments.
gonna see him at the end, maybe an end credit scene where you don't see a full transformation, but maybe you'll see like him slamming his hand down and the hand turning red,
Yep.
or maybe it's like a behind shot where you see him like start to grow and split out of his shirt or whatever. But I know you definitely heard the rumor for years that they're gonna make a remake of Big Trouble with the Rock, right?
Yeah, there's always been that rumor, and it wasn't a remake or it wasn't a sequel. It was just a whole other story. Like there's been so many rumors and whatnot, and the
You know what?
the
If they
Rock can't
want
do it.
to, no, he can't do it because no one would buy him being second banana, and he wouldn't even be. He wouldn't want it if he wasn't hero.
Well, not only that, but when you look at like contracts like guys like The Rock have, and I heard about this recently where The Rock has it in his contract of only how much damage and like how much he can do in a fight scene, because he cannot look weak on camera. And he's got that in his contracts. And when you have something like that, you know, I want to see the hero take a beating and overcome, not where
Yeah,
it's like he looks constant badass. That's why it's like when you look at something like Big Trouble in Little China, Kurt Russell takes a kind of a beating. He doesn't come off as he's cocky, he's arrogant, but he doesn't come off as a guy who's not going to get his ass handed to him.
yeah. I like one of the things I think that makes a hero is at some point you get your ass kicked.
Oh,
You
absolutely.
learn the lesson.
I mean, take a look at Die Hard. Die Hard
Oh yeah.
was the movie that showed Bruce Willis as an action hero overcoming shit, cuz you figure he took his shoes off. He ran through glass. He was covered in cuts and bruises. He had to pick glass out of his feet. That tells you like this guy walked through fire and went through
Or at least broken
trials to
glass.
persevere.
Yeah,
And that's what I want to
yeah,
see out of a hero, not, oh, he's just badass.
yeah. Um, just getting back to Trouble. I mean, what do you think made that movie work?
what I feel made the movie work was the fact that like if you were a fan of like the martial arts movies, no matter whether they were the cheesy ones or not, that was something that got people want like seeing it more for an American audience. It kind of falls into the same venue of like The Last Dragon, where it's like, okay, there's going to be the hokey martial arts thing because there was always somebody where, there was always that kid who, like, he made martial arts his identity. And that
Yeah.
was the thing. This was like, you're seeing it, but you're seeing it through a, like, kind of a reverse lens. And that was the thing that really worked, where it was like, you have the culture going on with their mythology, and then you go and you have someone like Kurt Russell stepping in there and, oh, okay, you have the outsider's perspective on it, but he's coming into this and most people thought, oh, he's the hero, and it's like, no,
No, he's not.
he's really not. Good knife. It's
Oh,
like
the reflexes.
if it wasn't for that one scene, you would still sit there and know it's like he's not the hero.
No, he's not. I, I don't know. There were just so many things for me that worked for the film.
Oh,
Again, watching it
the
first time when I was
storms?
8 years old.
Yeah, but watching the guys playing the storms, those were the three guys playing the storms were absolutely amazing.
Hmm. And a lot of those guys, the guy who played, I think Thunder,
Mm,
the only one who actually spoke, um, he's a huge star over in China
yeah,
or Japan. He's a huge martial arts star out there.
yeah. Trying to remember
And
the actor who played him, so I'm gonna try to pull that up.
yeah, I
So
got
you
it.
keep talking. You got it already?
And uh, yeah, hang on. It's Carter Wong played Thunder.
Oh yeah, Carter Wong. It
And
is amazing.
he's huge. And he's up there with like Bolo.
Oh,
You go out
absolutely.
to Japan, they're like gods out there, and they bring him in here, and to give him a role like that, you might think, oh, again, a casual 8-year-old who doesn't know any better, like, oh, he's just a typical bad guy. But when you know like his work, like, holy shit,
And
this
I'm
dude can
looking
go.
up like Carter Wong's like his filmography on IMDb right now, and it's like the
Uh,
two like American movies that you would know him for are Big Trouble in Little China and
I
Rambo 3.
didn't even know he was in Rambo 3.
But he's listed as additional crew. So it's not even like he was a big name in there.
Yeah.
But I'm like, he is a jacked guy. He comes off as imposing, and that I think is part of it. It's like the guys that are part of the two different warring factions of the Chinese gangs and stuff. It really is like these guys really sold it.
Yeah. Like, they didn't take it as like, okay, I'm just here because I fit the stereotype. These guys, they did their shit, man.
Oh,
They did their yeah.
yeah, and that's the thing. Big Trouble in Little China is that movie where it's like it's highly underrated, be, but it's a cult classic.
Oh yeah. I mean, if you saw it, you love it. If you never seen it and like Big Trouble, nah. Let's see what else is on if you never heard about it before. But it's one of those films where you watch it and you're like, this is fucking awesome.
Listen, there are plenty of movies where they are not like that are cult classics, but they don't stand out in the same way. And
Yeah.
like a lot of John Carpenter's movies are actual cult classics.
Hmm.
And the thing is, it's like, you're going to see some crazy shit because it's a John Carpenter movie. And one thing that I have to say is when you see the creature that's like stalking around, because I believe John Carpenter worked on well, I think he worked on what was it? The original Creep Show.
Yeah.
That creature looks like, from what we saw of it, looked like the creature in the box, which I think was his segment in Big Trouble in Creep Show, like the
Yeah,
creature in the box
that
under the
was his part.
stairs.
Yeah, that's yeah, a little more gory or creep show, a little less furry, but basically built off the same frame.
Yeah, it was like the creature looked like they just reused the same creature, because all we
Yeah.
really saw were the hands and the head, and that's all you really kind of saw in Big Trouble in Little China, which I
Well, there
kind of
was
wanted to
a
see more
couple
of
of
the creature.
times. There was a couple of times you saw like the full body when he was carrying control away. You see him hopping along the hallway.
Yeah, but it wasn't like clear. Like it was more like
No, it
kind of
wasn't clear. It was like you're going down a dark hallway and you're a creature. So,
yeah.
all right, let's wrap it up because I'm starting to feel like shit again.
Oh, of course, yeah. Today's more of a shorter episode with our technical difficulties at the very beginning.
Yeah. So just in case it didn't work the first time, I want to give a shout out to my boy Joe Arancio down in Florida. Send up some sunshine this way because we need it. Uh, if you're looking for a pet, check out RDR Rescue Dogs Rock, New York City, NYC. Great places to get to adopt a animal. Uh, you all know who I am.
And start
That's
promoting
right.
yourself now.
Yep, I got.
Time to
Yeah,
shill.
I know. Time to chill. Like I said before, follow me on Instagram, Hamster Pellet 17. Got me on Facebook, Hamster Pellet Productions. I'm going to be in Death of a Salesman at the end of March, beginning of April at the Little Victory Theater. Check them out. Go to their website, littlevictorytheater.com. Hit them up on email at littlevictory16 at gmail.com. We open March 24th, I believe. Yeah, we open the 24th, which is a Friday. And we run through April 2nd, which is a Sunday. We do Friday, Saturday, Sunday shows. Friday, Saturday are at 8 o'clock. Sunday, we got a matinee at 2. Go to littlevictorytheater.com. Check them out. Get some tickets. Come down and see me. I will see you there.
And I am the Blue Dragoon himself, Daniel the Dragon. And you can find me on my socials, pretty much almost all of them. It's Blue Dragoon 13. That's TikTok, Instagram. Um, I hardly use Twitter, so I'm not even really giving out my Twitter information at this point. But YouTube is Blue Dragoon 13, and we have the Facebook group, I believe. I have access, and I barely know how to use it, but I do promote the show on there from time to time. You can find me on TikTok for Blue Dragoon 13. I will and promise I will post more on there. But yeah, it's you can find us anywhere. But the easiest way to get in touch with us is to email us at dragoonslairpodcast at gmail.com. That's all one word. Dragoon is spelled with 2 O's. That's dragoonslairpodcast at gmail.com. Send us your emails. Let us know what you think of the show. Make some suggestions, and we'll try to work with you guys, see what it is you want, and if it's something really cool that you want us to discuss, we'll take a look at it. I'll see if I can actually get Mike to be able to watch something, because he's a little busy with his stage productions right now. And
Yeah.
we're hoping to expand and continue to grow the show, and we appreciate all your support. Thank you, everyone who's out there sharing. Thank you again to Doug. I want to thank Dan Siri, who messaged on Facebook and is enjoying the show, and also wanted to be called his vote for Dragoonies as our fans. So
Okay.
I'm going to post the link because you can find us on Discord. I have the Discord page. It's not very active because there's not really a lot of people here. I will try to be more interactive with the group if I can get more people to sign up. There is an open link in the link tree on my Twitch page, which is Blue Dragoon 13. So let us know what you think. Like, send us emails, stay in touch. And we're basically here enjoying all this wonderful entertainment because Mike still can't get over the fact that Cocaine Bear exists and now there's a meth gator. He looks so frustrated.
Panda's on Prozac. It's coming next. Panda's on Prozac. While it's on Quaalude.
So, with that being said, we're going to wrap up today.
Raccoons on Reefer.
Oh, God. The Raccoons on Reefer would just be really stoned and not doing anything. They'd be falling out of trash cans. So, they're really not. That's just the worst. The literal worst idea. Unless you're going to do
Chipmunks on crystal meth.
That would be kind of hilarious.
I mean, those little fuckers are fast. Just woo-wee.
That sounds like a trauma movie if I've ever heard one.
Ladybugs on LSD.
And we're going to wrap that up with that. So,
yeah, before I give the asylum any more ideas for movies.
For free. Yeah. So, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Now get out.
Later, peoples.